Hi, hi. We're reading One Piece now. Uh, it's well into the Wano arc, the second act of the Wano arc. It looks like Wano is going to be a little more formalized in its structure, which I think is kind of cool. I always find it really hype in One Piece arcs when they kind of make like a breaking point. I think Skypiea and Thriller Bark have good examples of this. That for kind of the first half, they're just getting messed up. They're getting lost, they're getting disoriented and confused, and then at a certain point, kind of everything falls into place. They have a resolved understanding of everything that needs to be done, and they set out. It's time for the counterattack. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen in the second arc of the overall Wano super arc. I think that's probably not going to be until the third act, but still, lots of very interesting things happen. The remaining players getting into place. This is chapter 929. I think we have like 5 to read before we're caught up, which is quite exciting. This is probably the most behind I've been in One Piece since around Thriller Bark, which is when I first kind of caught up with it again. Um, feels weird. Feels weird to know that there's people out there with more One Piece knowledge than me, that know things that have happened that I don't know. It's whew. It's embarrassing, I guess. It's a little embarrassing. Anyways, this is a cool color spread. I like all of their ninja ways, um, especially Usopp doing the duplication technique. That feels very fitting for him. That seems like the sort of thing he would love to use in a fight. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so this is back to where we just left off in the last chapter, which was the courtesan coming through um, the to the capital. We saw like the sad backstory of the man that she had taken every cent of and tricked. We saw some Luffy in prison action, but of course that's somewhere else. This is Frankie's boss. Oh, the man who built Kaido's mansion. Okay, interesting. So Frankie's actually probably like leveling up quite a bit here. Everybody else is kind of doing things that are a bit irrelevant to what they're really invested in. I guess Zoro is also a samurai. That makes sense. But Frankie, this is just what he wants to be doing anyways. Carpentry and working on blueprints and stuff. Ah, okay. So they really want to see, yeah, the blueprints for the mansion. This is going to be instrumental in their eventual attack on the capital. But he pawned them. Okay. T. What if put so much love into these little characters? It's like it's so much fun, if you can extrapolate based on what you've seen of a minor character, what their overall personality is like, and what their working relationships are like, and just how they go about their lives. And if you make them really goofy, like if you just add a little bit of flavor that they're actually kind of wacky, unreasonable people, it just gets kicked up a notch. That the fun you have in imagining this guy who seems like he's a very reputable. He's the leader of the legendary carpenters. He's the man who built Kaido's mansion. He's just this goofy guy. Oh, he blows up the carpentry house. This is like just like back in Water 7 when he was always feuding with the shipbuilders of Galley Law. Ah, it must be so nostalgic for him. Okay, so he gets fired. They don't have the blueprints. Oh! This Bream. Of course, I recognize that art style anywhere. This is our other samurai, deep undercover, Kanjuro of the Evening Rain, of course, who is selling some delicious fish that he has made with his devil fruit. Nice. So they're now closer to getting the blueprints. And for 10 years ago, mansion blueprints. Let's beat that. Oh man, I would love to go to a pawn shop in Wano. I wish there was a whole chapter of just going through the cool stuff they have there. Given how much I like through looking through junk in actual Japan, fantasy Japan, that's gonna have some amazing things too. It's swept away naturally. Who bought that thing? Tamagoro from the Longhouses. He wanted to study it. Oh man. Oh yeah. Immediately within a panel, we get the next step in the trading quest, or not even trading quest, because Frankie is just running around harassing people, but it's built up kind of like the trading quest, and I almost vaguely feel like there's some sort of parable in in kind of traditional Japanese culture that relates the idea of this sort of constant quest one person sends you to the next person with the idea of carpenters, or it might just be that I'm remembering it from Ocarina of Time, where of course the big training quest to get the big Goron sword involves the carpenters quite a bit, and the carpenter's saw and stuff. Anyways, I think it's like that when I was reading about that, the Oot quest, like that was a reference to something even more culturally fundamental than Ocarina of Time, of all things, if you can imagine something being more fundamental than that. So is that, am I crazy? Does this sound familiar to anyone? Mr. Kubi, even my favorite geisha. Dear Kisikawa. Is this gonna end up that Frankie, distracted by the courtesan, now has to go get the blueprints from the courtesan? I think that would be pretty funny. This is great, though. This is such a great way to show just all these little slices of Ueno culture. And look at the details that Oda is putting in. The panel here in the bottom left, or the bottom right. It's this kid going, why, and chasing his mom. It's so nice. You can tell that... There's the geisha. I used them as a coaster for a pot. Tokichiro. Okay. From Kuri. Oh man. You can tell that this entire time, ever since the samurai appeared in Thriller Bark, and perhaps even further back than that, because that samurai, Ryuga, of course, was a reference to Wanted, which was like a prototype One Piece story that Oda made that seems like it takes place in the same universe. Probably ever since before One Piece existed, Oda has had a picture in his head of what Wano country eventually became. This kind of stuck in feudal era Japan place with all sorts of kooky characters, that every single trope he's loved from every single period piece movie, all smushed together, samurai and ninjas and geishas and all of these things just running about. You can tell that Oda has just been putting things into the bank there. And I almost feel like, with all of this in consideration, Wano is going too fast, if anything. Wano should have been like volumes and volumes of just the first village. Nah, maybe not, maybe not. Maybe that's excessive, but whatever. Okay. So he goes to the abandoned village of Kuri. Yeah. Oh, but that's where they are, right? That's the village where the graves are and that they're hiding out. What's the new Kyoto's Mansion's blueprints? They're robbing the factories. Cool. They're framing Shutenmaro. Of course. Sure, sure. So who has the blueprints? It kind of feels like, with all of that sort of franticness of Frankie running around, it's gonna end up being some like underwhelming twist where it's like, oops, we had them all along. You guys were doing this for nothing. The Taiko Drum character Tonoyasu. Okay, it's just somebody else hanging out with Zoro, helping him get some food. I would assume, given Zoro is, yeah, just kind of on the outskirts of society now. Couldn't go wrong if I followed you. I knew it. Oh, so this is another kind of archetypical character, right? That we have the Wandering Ronin, pretty badass, pretty self-reliant, capable, and then some annoying sidekick forces themselves upon him. But I feel like, knowing Oda, this guy Tonoyasu is going to have more going on than it looks. Next, you gambled big. You kept winning. Gamblers came after us with katanas in the air. Ah, see, this is like a whole samurai movie plot that just sort of unfolded while Zoro was wandering around off screen. Yakuza, the capital underlings of the Kodashio gang. Capital, and right in front of it is a little hamlet called Leftovers Town. Okay. It's gone now. Okay, so here we are in the capital itself. This is the sort of setting we're going to see for the final battles of this arc, I would imagine. And, of course, already, I think it's pretty cool. I have, like, the folding screens and the traditional lanterns and the tatami mats and stuff. Ooh! Oh, what the heck? It's CP0. CP0 is the one contacting the Wano capital. So that's why, at first, this guy, whoever this is, was suspicious. You sure you aren't trying to open the borders? Because the world government, of course, wants Wano to just fold and integrate into the world government system and blah, blah, blah. Intermediary Joker. Doflamingo's gone now. Why is CP0? Is anything we desire beyond your own power? This time we want battleships. This time we want Dr. Vegapunk. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. So is this the Emperor here himself? Or the Shogun, I guess, is the one that really matters. This is the Shogun that's speaking, that shoots a member of CP0? So Dragons, Marines, note this, we do not fear them. Even if you all banded together, you'd never topple this country. I have Kaido himself at my back. Yeah, that's, like, pretty convincing. The CP0 agent that they shot doesn't really seem to be too troubled. But they did knock his hack off. And they seem to have some sort of Hydra fruit. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so... Fight with pirates, buy weapons from pirates. Okay, so Lord Orochi is emerging. This is really cool, the shot of all the sliding doors opening again. And a real awesome cliche thing. Everything's ready. Not a care at all. Chicken raisin, beautiful Orochi potato. Stuffed and quickly cooked. Don't feel like chicken! Just sashimi and mackerel. Alright, sure, sure. All the geishas, the prettiest geishas in the world. Including the courtesan, Kumurasaki. Okay, are we gonna get to actually see Lord Orochi? A lot of people were speculating, right around when I stopped reading, that it was gonna be Momo's sister. The Momo's sister, who wasn't frozen in time, is possibly still alive. I would assume still alive, because Oda kind of planted that hook. And may have gone to the dark side? She's either, like, still alive and in hiding somewhere, or she's still alive and become corrupted, because otherwise she probably would be dead by now. But that seems extremely underwhelming and anticlimactic if she's just dead. So a lot of people thought, has she become the Shogun? I don't think so. This does not look like Momo's sister. There he is. Kurozumi Orochi. He looks like a normal guy. This is Wano country. Don't confuse it for heaven. Eat and drink your heart out. And here we see some of his loyalist samurai envoy. So these are going to be probably major fights in the future too. So yeah, they've got two kind of major parties of enemies. The Shogun's people and as well, of course, Kaido's army. The latter being, I think, much more relevant. Ooh, and then here, this is a nice collection of shots. Zooming out of the capital, seeing Leftovers Town where the dog is going hungry, and then seeing Kaido's factories just billowing smoke into the air relentlessly. Ah, I mean, this is always how arcs work in One Piece, is that we see both the beauty of a place and then also the terror of kind of what is besieging it, such that we get really worked up for the final battle. Not just that we hate the villain and love the heroes, but that we want to see the country restored. We want to see the island come back to paradise. But in Wano, it feels like even more significant than in any other country and any other arc, just because I've been waiting so long to see what this country is like. They've hyped up Wano for like over a decade. Okay. Meanwhile, all right. Ooh. Okay. These people know who we are. 6 strongest headliners. 2 of them, Drake and Page One. Page One, that's an odd name. But here is X-Drake, of course. One of the worst generation, one of the supernovas. I think one of the hypest supernovas. And then this guy, Page One, who is also a dinosaur. They meet up with Hawkins. Came here in pursuit of a specific man. Okay. Yet another faction of Kaido's forces is now in play. The Flying Fighters. Can't get over this guy's name, Page One. What? That must be some sort of reference or joke or something. And his hair looks kind of like wet hair caribou, you know? The kind of flop one streak, but I don't think that's significant. I think they just happen to have similar hair. Interesting. Okay. So again, more and more things just building up. Wano becoming this increasingly complex house of cards with so many people in various positions of power. But what's cool, I think, is that there's 2 hierarchies happening, right? There's the political power and the influence that all of these characters have in Wano, their social standing and the sort of people that surround them. But then there's the actual power level, like who's going to beat who in the fight. That all of these people have as well, and when things switch from the first being relevant to the second, that's when things are going to start getting absolutely insane in Wano country. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next chapter. I don't know, what more can they add? We've seen like so many characters. Now stuff is just gonna start happening, I think. Okay, be right back.